welcome everybody here to Math Blasters. Today we're going to be learning about X's and O's. Tom, give us a strength. What's 4 times 4?
2.
Okay, so Tom has just failed there, but welcome everybody here to the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. My name is Andrew.
I thought I was right.
No, you were totally off.
Dang it. Is it fork?
No, it's fork. It's close, but you're off. You're a little off there.
All right.
Well, welcome everybody here to the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. My name is Andrew Valentin, and of course with me is the great, the wonderful, rocking his safety team shirt. It is Mr. Tom McKinney himself. Tom, how are you doing
Andrew
today,
Valentin
man?
now.
No, now you're
I'm
me?
Andrew Valentin now. That's what it said.
So he's me, and I'm him. So there we go. Yes. Tom, how are you doing today, man?
Math isn't my strong suit.
Well, that's okay, Tom, because we're not asking you to do math. We're asking you to talk about sports here. So I hope you're ready for this one, because this is going to be a fun one, ladies and gentlemen. It is Draft Mania right now this week.
I have to apologize. I'm not wearing my Stan Bowman clown shirt, which I should have been wearing today. I had something else go right after work. Didn't have time to go home, and I couldn't find it this morning to grab it.
Hey, you know what?
It'll be here Saturday, depending on what happens on Saturday.
We'll just picture like you do have it on. You
Okay,
know?
fine by me.
We'll pretend like it is there.
It's
okay?
a really bright shirt on the TV for me.
It is. I got like aqua blue going for me right now.
Hey.
All right, well, guys, I hope you're ready for this one because we got a lot to pour through. It's a lot of stuff. You ready to hit this time?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the first half started with the NHL draft. That's right. I said it. The NHL entry draft is this week. It is Tom's Christmas, believe it or not. It's very interesting. There's a lot of things lined up, and this may be, from what I've been hearing, a lot of people have been saying this is maybe one of the best drafts we're looking at in a very long time.
Well, it's almost mirrored NBA-wise.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's
you
very
know who
intriguing.
The top 2 guys are in both leagues as much
do we really, though? I mean, because I've been hearing some different things about number 2. Number 2 only, really. I mean,
what, in the NHL? Or
in the NHL. Not in the NBA, but the NHL.
Well, yeah,
I've been hearing a few different things.
It's more set in the NBA. We all know that Zion's going to probably go number 1.
Right.
I say probably because you never know. Something crazy could happen.
Yeah, exactly.
But in the NHL, I mean, let's just get right into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
I have the NHL Network's mock draft.
It is worth it.
3 analysts. Oh, great! I'm doing analysts again.
Well, give us the top 10. Give us the top 10.
They have it's hard because it's 3 different analysts.
Okay.
So for number 1, they all agree it's Hughes. So it's Kilman, Morelli, and LePage.
Yeah.
They all have Hughes.
Okay.
He's 18 years old. He's 5'10", 171 pounds. Kilman says that he has a package of skating, passing, vision, and hockey senses that reminisce of Chicago Blackhawks forward Patrick Kane.
Yeah.
So
I mean, well, he's being viewed as the next great superstar that's going to come in here and blow the league up.
In the 2019 IIHF U18 World Championships, his stats through 7 games. It's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is.
United States won the bronze medal. He had 9 goals, 11 assists. He had 20 points, and he was a plus-minus of +10. So, I mean, really the Devils, who have the number 1 pick, they're going to go out. They're going to get some guy that's going to be really good. His brother Quinn Hughes is in Vancouver right now. He was brought up this past season, towards the end of the season. So his brother's looking good. But this is one guy that I would love to see somehow the Devils screw this up and not draft him and draft someone else.
I mean, if he's not going to the Devils, he's going to the Rangers. I mean, there's no way the Rangers would pass on this kid.
Well, this is where I'm hoping they mess up.
I know.
I'm hoping where the Devils mess up.
You're hoping a lot, but
they don't draft either 1 or 2 projected overall guys, and it just one of those guys fall to me.
I'm telling you right now, probably not going to happen.
And that jersey will be pre-ordered.
It's most likely it's not going to happen because I don't think. Because here's the thing: if Hughes goes to New York, which is what I think the NHL is hoping can happen, he is going to be a huge commodity there because even though the Rangers have been terrible for years now, this is their chance to kind of say, well, we have our superstar.
But it's the Rangers. It's New York.
Well,
it's New York.
I know.
New York knows to mess things up.
But that's the thing is they're not going to pass on a kid like him to take a chance to miss.
Where everybody keeps flip-flopping, and NHL doesn't have him flip-flopped. All 3 guys have. The next guy up is Capo Caco.
Capo Caco. How many times do I got to tell you? It's Capo Caco. I've heard the Finnish say it's Capo Caco. I don't care.
I've heard it.
You're wrong, mister.
As soon as I hear it a different way,
Mr.
1,000
Hockey
times.
Man.
Hey, shut up. Wait till we get to these Russian names. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I know.
He's a right winger from TPS Finland. Kako, in 10 games, he had 6 goals. He's 6'2", 194 pounds. He's got speed.
Mm-hmm.
He shoots lefty. He scored the game-winning goal in the gold medal game against Team USA in the 2019 World Juniors.
Yep.
He's a heavy left-handed shot, but the man knows how to stick handle. I think he's out of these two right here, Jack Hughes and
do you think he's
Kako,
the better?
I think he's NHL ready right off the bat.
Interesting. so you think
I almost think he's first-line material.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So you're viewing, because they're saying everyone's been saying Jack Hughes all-star probably no doubt in his rookie year.
Don't get me wrong, Jack Hughes could very well.
Do you think then that Kaapo Kakko's the rookie of the year? Is that what you're feeling?
I'm thinking, first off, it's not called rookie of the year.
Well, not rookie of the year.
By the way, NHL awards are tonight, so we'll find out who is the Calder Trophy winner.
Thank you.
Patrick Kane is up for the Ted Lindsay Award. Hopefully he'll get that one. Be nice to see a Blackhawks player. He had an outstanding season. Too bad there's no other Hawks. I think Tay should have been there, but whatever.
Yeah.
I don't make the rules.
But you think he could be a shoo-in for that?
Yeah, I think Kakko. I think depending on injuries, it all comes down to injuries.
Right.
You can't say, the injuries aren't a factor. Injuries are a factor.
Mm-hmm.
Kakko is a little heavier, and the Finns game is becoming more and more NHL ready. You see a lot of these Finnish guys coming in, and they're ready to go. Quote unquote, we have one of them, Yoki Haru.
Yes. Well, and we have a few waiting in our
system
system as well.
Plenty of waiting in our
lot
system.
of guys.
Yeah, we have plenty of waiting in our system, and we'll get into that coming down the line.
He's a smooth scorer. He's an absolute nightmare to deal with.
There's videos out there of him doing in warm-ups where he bounced the puck off the ice
I saw
from
that.
the blue line and then slap shot it in, and it bounced back, and then he snapped it in again while it was midair, and I was like,
yeah, he's on a different level.
What are we doing here?
But this is a guy too, from what I had heard from some scouts. He's not only just a winger, he also knows how to play center. He's played some defense in his younger year. I mean, this is a guy that's done everything. I mean, he's probably played goaltender, I'm sure, at some point in his career.
But how awesome would it be if somehow the Rangers mess this up? I'm telling you, I'm just praying right now. I'm praying to the hockey gods that something happens and it gets really messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Where Jack Hughes falls to the Hawks or Kakko falls to the Hawks. And if it's Kakko, you got Yoki Haru comes up. You got Kakko, those two Finnish guys. Those guys love each other.
Yeah, they do have that camaraderie.
That whole area right there would be great.
Absolutely. Well, the next one's a lot more interesting because obviously the third overall pick belongs here to Chicago.
Yeah, which is a big surprise. We jumped 7 spots.
And it's kind of a toss-up right now, I've seen, although there's a favorite right now.
Well, and here's the crazy part.
To go offense.
Let me throw this out there real quick. So this is what's really crazy about the whole situation is that this used to not – the guy that they have projected here used to not be who we were projected to get.
Right.
We were originally projected to get this 17-year-old Vasily Podolzlinian.
Yeah, you're close enough.
He's a right winger from St. Petersburg, Russia.
Mm-hmm.
But his numbers are terrible.
Yes.
And now everything is going towards – by the way, my list isn't by the players; it's by the team drafting.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
So people aren't confused.
It's pretty much the same too with the rankings. So.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Kielman and Morelli have Alex Turcotte. I try to do as much research on these guys as I can. It's just so hard when you type in NHL mock drafts or some of these guys' names.
Yeah.
And the first thing that pops up really is the number two guys.
I'll give you some information on this kid. So Alex Turcotte. He's a local, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
Island Lake, Illinois is where he's from. He's 5'11". He's about 185, 190 pounds.
I have 5'11", 186 pounds.
186 pounds. So he's right around. He's in that good size right there. He's a center, left-handed.
Here's my problem with him.
Okay.
First off, he idolized Jonathan Toews when he was growing up and stuff, and now plays a similar style, which is fine. Injuries early and late in the season made it tough for scouts to get a read on him, but when they watched – this is what they're saying. When they watched him, they saw a top-end scoring touch and relentless at both ends of the ice. That makes him even better as a size, as I just read.
Yeah.
Problem is he's going to Wisconsin next year. He is not a guy ready to come up right away and help this team. I want someone who is ready to come up and help this team right off the bat. Now, this Lee Page guy – has Dylan Cousins, center from Lethbridge, which is part of the WHL.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying the Blackhawks. He says the Blackhawks have great defensive prospects and now have a chance to add an explosive young forward. He's 18 years old. He's 6'3", 183 pounds, so he's a little bit lighter than Turcotte, but was 10th in the Western Hockey League with 84 points, 34 goals, 50 assists in 58 games, and is one of the fastest, most threatening forwards in the 2019 draft class. I want speed. I want him second-line center with Patrick Kane and someone else on that other side, and I want him up right away. I think he would be perfect. He's playing in the WHL. He might not play this year, but give him a year, and he'll be up there. Kane does not seem to be slowing down. We've seen it this year. We saw it last year. Yeah. He is literally just going to put the team on his back. I think he's the American Gretzky, even though I'm not a fan of Gretzky, and I don't think Gretzky's the great one.
Now everybody hates you.
I don't care. So I personally would love to go get this guy. I've seen some videos of him, and he is fast.
Here's the thing. I've seen Cousins. I've watched the highlights. I've read the scouting reports. He does look like a really good player right now in terms of the rankings. They have him going definitely in the top 10. He's viewed as that kind of a player. I mean, at 6'3", 183, 185 pounds, he certainly has the size, 34 goals, 50 assists. The numbers are right there for him for an 18-year-old kid. So.
They're saying his NHL comparison is to Mark Scheifele, which isn't a bad comparison whatsoever.
No, it's not. But look, I will say this. With Alex Turcotte, the whole situation with him, from what I've seen and what some people have said, he's like the D Rose of the ice.
It's injuries. That's what scares you.
It's
his injuries, and that's the fact that the teams couldn't get a scout on him in the beginning and the end of the season for him.
Now, I will say, though, he still put up some numbers. I mean, he only played 16 games in the USHL in competition, but he had 34 points. And that comes out to about 2.1 points a game or so.
Yeah, something like that.
It's crazy how good this kid is because he's right there with a guy like Hughes in terms of being for under 18 USA play. But at the same time, too, I mean, look, if they take this kid, I'm certainly happy with it. Yes, you have to wait a while for him, certainly.
And that's where I think a lot of people aren't willing to do. I personally don't want to wait. I still think, and I believe, even as much as I hate the front office, with the talent we have on the ice and with the defensemen coming up, we're gonna have Bovequist next year. We're gonna have Yoki Haru next year. We're gonna have some of these key pieces. We're gonna have Ali Mata. We'll get into that in a few minutes.
Yes.
But we'll have defensemen next year that will be able to coincide with the older veterans, which is what you want. You want vets and young guys cohesively.
Yes,
thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
I got you.
Together, and I think we're going to be fine. I still think we have at least one more Stanley Cup in us, maybe two, depending on where we go in this draft.
Yeah, look, it's interesting. I mean,
and what other moves and free agents we could. There's some key big free agents that we're going to get into. I want to say maybe Saturday.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Yeah, we'll definitely see. I mean,
because there's one that's been pegged towards the Blackhawks. It
kind of depends on how crazy all this mess goes. Because
I mean,
if the Blackhawks make a move out of 3 or for some reason, which I've seen some people say,
or even up forward, there's talks that they could jump to 1.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a ton of conversation on what the Blackhawks may do, moves this way and that way, whether it's Turcotte or whether it's Cousins or whether it's
Hughes
or Byram, I think it is, the other defenseman. I mean. Look, do we need another defenseman? Not really, but he is another one of those guys who I look at and I think elite play, great defender, great size. He hits like a train too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't really – I mean, it's hard to avoid those kind of players. So, look, as long as the Blackhawks get somebody who can make an effect in the next couple of years, I'm happy.
Yeah. I don't want to wait 3 years.
I understand.
And that's the problem.
I wish I could have your enthusiasm about winning a Stanley Cup. Unfortunately, I feel like we're kind of like in the not a rebuild, but we're kind of like a retightening period, if you will.
Yeah, which is fine, but
I think it's going to take a little
while. But look
at
some of these teams that have retightened, like the who won last year? Capitals.
Yes.
You know what? I'm looking at Canadians will host.
Well,
look
at the Bruins even. I mean, the Bruins have always they're always retightening.
Yeah,
their
they're
team over and
retightening.
over.
these guys are never going to be together forever.
Right.
Yeah, they're going to keep the core together. They're going to keep Pasternak. In the Bruins' sake, they'll keep Marchand. They'll keep
Chara and all
Chara
those
and
guys,
that stuff. I couldn't think of the other guy.
It's fine.
Bergeron.
Yes.
There we go. The Hawks are obviously going to keep Taves and Kane. Those guys are going to be Hawks for life until something crazy happens, and if they can get a big free agent signing and they need to dump one of them when they get towards the end of the career. But I think those two will retire Hawks. I don't think they'll ever go anywhere.
I would hope not. I mean, they're legends in this city by now.
I mean, 3 Stanley Cups.
They're going to have a statue built inside of them.
Even if they do somehow, like their last year, they still want to play and someone picks them up, then that's fine. Like, if they're not, if they're really not producing anything, like I'm fine with letting them go on good terms. Don't let them go on bad terms because as an organization, you hate to see that.
Yeah.
And as a fan base, you don't want to see. You saw it with the Bulls in the 90s.
Right.
I don't want that again. And I think the Blackhawks are getting away from that. Now there are some front office people who I don't like, as I keep reiterating.
I.e. the face that would be on your shirt had you wore the shirt.
Yeah.
Yes.
But other than that, I'm down with whoever they draft as long as he is ready to come up at least. Not if it's not the 2019-2020 season, be it the 2020-2021 season.
Well, I mean, real quick before obviously with the Blackhawks and stuff, we just had them make a trade here for Ali Mata, trading Cahoon and a 5th-round pick to the Penguins to get the young 24-year-old defenseman. So, Tom, I mean, because I know I was looking at the numbers and I was kind of thinking, well, you know, it's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. So I wanted to know, Tom, what did you think about it?
He can't keep his feet underneath him.
Okay.
That's his big problem for Mata. He doesn't know how to skate with the puck real well.
Yeah.
He's a defensive defenseman. He'll get it out of the corners and stuff like that. He'll keep it out of our zone, which is fine. I have no problem with that. The problem I have is his skating ability. And if you watched him, he was injured at the end of the season and through the playoffs. He didn't play much of the playoffs, if any at all.
Yeah.
I have a huge problem with that and the fact that you gave up I think Mata is like 24, 25.
24.
Or 24. And Cahoon's like 18, 19.
Yeah, he's 19, going to be 20, I think.
Yeah,
or something
so
like
you got rid of a guy who's only costing you like $9,000 in cap space, and
a little bit more than that. But
no, it's literally
it's like chump change.
It's like 980.
Oh, is it really that cheap?
Yeah, it's like 982,300 and something.
Okay.
For someone who's costing you now like $3 million in cap space.
Right, he's taking up that room and used elsewhere.
Yeah, and it's just like, why would we get rid of a young forward? We have defensemen coming up. People are excited for this a little bit, and I'm like, we have all these defensemen. We saw Yoki Haru. Yes, he struggled offensively a little bit last season, but he finally will get to that point where he's going to be an offensive defenseman, but a defensive defenseman. And people are like, well, what does that mean? He's going to score goals, but he's also going to play that defense.
Well, there's something about the Finnish game.
Yes, there's something about the Finnish game, and that's why I want another Finn on our team. I'd be fine with a whole team of Finnish people because they just play the game pure. I don't know if you've ever.
Well, they have the thing is.
Have you ever watched like Finnish hockey league games?
Oh yeah. Well, because they have their own brand of hockey, like what we've seen with Russia and Canada and even Germany and all these other countries. Yeah. The Finnish have made their own style of hockey,
and it's working so well here in the NHL.
Beautifully.
It's flowing so nice on the NHL level, and it's just crazy to think that the Blackhawks would trade for another defenseman instead of saving that little bit of money you have for, per se, an Anders Lee from the Islanders, who is now a free agent and potentially he wants to stay in Long Island, but is open to terms with another team.
Well,
who knows?
Here's what I was going to say for Ali Mata. Like I said, I looked at it and I thought, okay, it's okay, but it's good. I understood what I think they were trying to do. Like, okay, let's make the defense younger, and let's get a guy who's kind of established himself in the NHL. But you probably could have got something better.
Yeah,
I mean, look,
way better.
You had to certainly give up more, I think, like a 3rd-round pick or a 2nd-round pick.
And that's the other thing is, why did you have to give up the 5th-round pick for someone who
you probably could have gotten for a little bit cheaper?
Yeah, like...
And certainly. Yeah, it was one of those things where I thought, well, if you gave up like a 2nd-round pick and Cahoon and somebody else maybe, you could have got maybe like a premier defender out there then, and then you're kind of setting yourself up for a future, a 20-year-old defender out there.
That was the whole thing that baffled me, is that the fact that they got rid of a 19-year-old guy and got a 24-year-old guy who has skating issues and this and that.
Still not really established.
And still not established, and you can see it, and he's coming off of an injury, and you still had to give up a 5th-round draft pick. Like, I don't understand that. Like, I'm fine if you give up a draft pick in the middle of the draft, but to give up a draft pick 2 days or 3 days before the draft. No, this happened Saturday.
Yes, it
This
did.
happened Saturday. To give it up
Saturday.
about a week before the draft starts it just baffles me. Like, I don't get it. I've never quite understood the reasoning behind all that. And the fact that people are like, oh, it's sort of okay. There are people out there that agree with me. They think this is a bad draft or a bad trade.
No, I mean, well, I've seen the mix. There's a mixed review on how some people say, oh, we finally got a young defender, but then it's like, yeah, but if you look at how he plays, it's kind of like he only gives you like so-so kind of play.
Again,
as
we
a defender,
don't need defensemen right now. We have a million of them coming up.
Yeah.
It's going to be almost a revolving door this year.
It's just a matter of finding the guys that are going to fit the team.
That's
the
fine.
thing.
That's fine.
We have these defensemen. We just have to figure out who's going to be on what line playing with who.
And that's
all
perfectly
it is.
fine. It's just the fact of, like we keep reiterating, don't trade for defensemen unless we absolutely needed to.
No,
and we didn't.
You can pay for those guys in free agency. You can find them in the draft all over the place. Trust me. I mean, can you get a guy like Dahlin, who went number 1 overall last year? I mean, look, those guys are.
And he struggled. I don't even think he'll win the Calder. He probably will. Because it's a
he
popularity contest.
He got hurt towards the end of the year.
Yeah, but it's still a popularity contest.
I know.
So it just depends on where they go from there.
Yeah. Now, is there anything you're seeing in, like, as a surprise for the draft before we get out that you see with the draft? Do you think anything big could happen here? I mean, obviously we've kind of said a little bit of something with the Blackhawks, but do you think there's any teams that could maybe make some big time moves? You think?
I think there could be a big trade. I think the Hawks could be big trade talks.
Yeah.
I don't know who would do it, and I don't know who would go.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely gonna be interesting. It's a hard thing to think. Like,
yeah,
people are like, oh, well, what could they do? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's. You just looked at the Flyers. They just signed Kevin Hayes to a 7-year deal worth $50 million. He'll make every year.
Well, and then you've got
$7.73 million.
Yeah, and then you've got the Sharks signing
Jumbo Joe. Carlson to like an 8-year deal. Jumbo Joe will be there for another year.
Yeah,
like
I've heard. Now, the one thing I've heard is that the Hawks may not stay at 3 because if they like that guy Cozens or anybody else that's maybe lower in the draft, if they're not sold with Turcotte, they said they could trade down potentially and stack up the draft picks. What do you think about that?
I would be fine with it, but at the same time, you have to wait till one comes in.
Yeah.
If the Devils don't take Hughes and or Kakko, if those two are still there at pick 2, you don't trade that pick.
No.
You absolutely don't trade that pick.
You hear us, Hawks? You hear us?
Because you're getting one of them, because either the Rangers are taking Kakko or they're taking Hughes at that point.
Right.
And you almost got to wait for 2. Like, because if the Rangers don't take Kakko and or Hughes, depending on who's there, you don't trade 3. You trade 3 when you're on the clock, and those 2 are gone.
So you would say once 2 gets selected, if they're looking at 3 then and saying, okay, Kakko's gone, Hughes is gone, you would say look into a trade possibly, move down, get some draft picks.
Yeah, and I recommend for the Hawks' sake, everybody's like, oh, get a goaltender early. Don't get a goaltender until like the 6th round.
Yeah, please. Drafting goaltenders early is like when you draft quarterbacks early. It's one of those things where you don't need to take them. Well, you don't really need to take them so high.
The top goaltender they have, the top goaltender actually, all 3 of them consensually have Spencer Knight, goaltender USA, U18, USHL, best goaltender in the draft, matches well with a team in desperate need of adding a young goaltender. Yeah. They have him going to the Florida Panthers. He's 6'3", 193 pounds, is solid fundamentally, and a tremendous athlete, which is displayed by finishing in the top 15 in 8 categories during the fitness test of the NHL Combine.
Yeah.
The Panthers definitely need to upgrade their goaltender situation. They're not doing so well.
No, they're not.
But at the same time, I mean, if the Blackhawks can somehow get a goaltender late in the draft, it almost be a steal.
I mean, there's plenty of them.
Yeah.
When I was looking through the prospects, there's so many guys out there that where it's like, my God, the saves count are up. They're all in like the high 90s and stuff. So you can get a star goaltender late in the draft. And it's happened plenty of times before. There have been many guys who have become Hall of Famers, superstars that were taken in the late, very, very late drafts. We're talking like the 15th, 16 rounds back when, those things existed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's all a matter of perspective and what the Hawks are looking at. So you're saying Cousins then for the Hawks at 3? Is that what you're looking for?
I would like him.
Okay.
Honestly, everybody knows where I'm going for. I'm praying right now, and I'm going to keep praying until it just either happens or doesn't happen. And by the way, with your Turcotte, you said he scored about 2.1 points a game.
Yeah, it was something like that, I think.
1 point. LePage said he had a tough season in terms of health, but averaged 1.68 points per game, second on the national team development program to Hughes, who is 2.24. Turcotte is second to points per game behind Hughes, but I still like Cousins. I think Cousins would be a great pickup.
I mean, either way, you're getting a fantastic player. It's just one you're getting earlier.
Who you'll end up sending back to the WHL, because I think he'll have one more year left there.
Yeah.
And then you'll bring him right back right here. Yeah. At the end of the season, or even to start the next season.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to get interesting. The draft is when, Tom?
Friday.
So we'll be looking out for that.
NBC Sportsnet.
We'll be giving a review of what happened in the draft, what the Blackhawks did. Hopefully, Tom will have a big smile on his face. Hopefully, I'll have a big smile on my face. So, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Might have something on the Facebook page Friday night.
Yeah, he may go live on there.
We'll have to see where we go and if I'm in the mood to do that.
If you're in the mood.
Dude, it just depends.
I know. It'll be energy draining. Well, Tom, this has been fun, man. I'm glad we had a chance to break down the NHL draft.
Yeah, I know we didn't go too deep into it.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
But it just, once you got to the Hawks, you almost had to get into the trade right away.
Well, hey, it's our home team. People want to hear about this, man.
Well, yeah, on top of that, it's like after the top 3, it's a hit or miss. Like the only other person they're saying could be for sure is the Kings at 5 when they draft Byram.
The defenseman.
That's everybody's consensus about that.
Yeah, it's
the Kings.
It's like it's like you said, it's a mirror image of what we see in the NBA. It's like a 2-player draft, and then it's a crapshoot with everything else.
Yeah, basically.
All right. Well, Tom, where can they find you, my man?
McLovin6193 on Instagram and Twitter. NHL awards are tonight. They're going to be dropping the cover of NHL 20 tonight as well.
Are they really?
Yeah, it's tonight.
Sweet.
So yeah, we can't wait for that, and stay tuned, see where we are with the draft on Saturday, and keep your eye out for X-Bomb stuff on Friday night, depending on where the Blackhawks do.
Absolutely. So guys, make sure on Friday night, Tom might be going live from the Facebook page. Make sure to go check him out if he's going to be doing it there. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, too, when we come back, we're going to be hitting it with the NBA draft, the opposite side of things here, bouncing the ball around. And, of course, too, we're going to be getting into just what happened with New Orleans and Lakers. We'll be
Yes!
We'll be back right here on the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. Don't go anywhere.
The Chicagoland area has a large number of lonely dogs currently filling shelter pens, just waiting to find a family. Nothing adds warmth to a home like a wagging tail and a warm pair of brown eyes. If you are considering adding a dog to your household, visit the Anderson Animal Shelter, where adoption counselors can assist you in selecting your new best friend. Make your house a home. Adopt a shelter dog. To see a current list of adoptees, visit their website at www.andersonanimalshelter.org or meet them in person at 1000 South LaFox Street in South Elgin. Don't have room in the home for a new furry family member? Donations of toys, collars, and soft or hard non-perishable dog food are always accepted and are greatly appreciated. All animals are spayed or neutered and are waiting with tails wagging to find a loving home. Visit 1000 South LaFox Street in South Elgin or www.andersonanimalshelter.org for more details. Throughout the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, Judy Finelli established herself as a masterful juggler and performer, making appearances everywhere from Carnegie Hall to Sesame Street. With her loving heart, she has brought warm smiles to children everywhere she has performed. She even started the San Francisco School for the Circus Arts, but shortly after, she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and by 2004, she was completely paralyzed. In celebration of her accomplishments and to fight the illness that had crippled Judy, a group of students from the San Francisco Clown College have compiled the perfect holiday present for those who want to laugh and to help those struggling with the illness. The goal has been set at $1 million raised, with 100% of any dollar made to be donated to the Junie Finelli Fund, which is helping find a cure to multiple sclerosis. Visit www.circuscenter.org to make a donation or to purchase a framed Naked Clown photo or the full Naked Clown 12-month calendar. Remember, 100% of every dollar is donated and goes to fighting MS.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Charles Buckley Show. This is Charles Buckley White Jr. here with you. My name is, like I said here, I got Tyler Prickett here. Tyler, how you doing, man?
My name is Wayne Selden Jr.
That's pretty good, Wayne. You're looking really good, man. By the way, I mean, did you get a haircut? Because all the hair is gone from you, man. You left a lot of the dreads.
They're gone. They're gone, and my voice is back.
Yeah,
my voice is back. Whoa,
that's good, man.
Weird.
That's really good. Yeah.
Just hitting some midlife crisis situation there.
Right. Well, welcome back, everybody, here to the X1 Sports Live Show. I'm still Andrew Valentin, and this is Tyler Prickett. He's back again, ladies and gentlemen. Tyler, welcome back, man.
Better than ever. Better than ever.
Glad to hear it, man. Glad to hear it. Well, you ready to get into this, man? Because last time we did talk some NBA, so now we're going to get into it some more.
Some more NBA.
All right. You ready for it?
I'm loving NBA now, man.
I'm glad to hear it.
It's a great time. Like I said last time, it's a great time to be an NBA fan. I mean, everything with the draft and the trades and everything. You thought there was popcorn for the NFL free agency?
Yeah.
Just wait.
Yeah,
Just wait.
Yeah, we're not even close to that yet. So get ready for this one, because we're about to get the second half started, ladies and gentlemen, and we're kicking it off with the NBA draft. That's right. 2019 NBA draft is tomorrow. It all goes down. We finally learn who is going to be number 1 overall and who is going to be number 60. So we're going to be going through these picks. We've got a lot of them to go through. Obviously, the top pick in this draft belongs to the New Orleans Pelicans. And it seems like it's a pretty unanimous decision on who that's going to be.
Right, R.J. Barrett.
Yes, exactly. It's going to be R.J. Barrett, yes. Tyler's right. It's the other man. It's Zion Williamson, certainly. I mean, the man has been outstanding. He's 6'7", 285, 22.5 points a game, 8.9 rebounds, 2.1 assists, 68% field goal percentage. I mean, this man was on top of his game this year.
Absolutely.
So, Tyler, I want to ask you, I mean, is it just a given now that, I mean, and not even just a given, I mean, I'll ask a different question. What impact do you think he's going to have on the Pelicans, knowing now what we know about this team?
I think regardless of contract situations, everything like that, in terms of what the player is, obviously Anthony Davis is, a tremendous asset, and, he's, top 5-6 player in the league, if you want to argue that. But the thing is, with Zion, he doesn't have that contract, so he's going to be on a rookie contract and everything like that. And I think he can boost them. And what they did with getting that huge haul from the Lakers is really going to put them, in playoff consideration right away. I think this is the type of player he is, and I think they mortgaged their future on him. Whereas with Anthony Davis, they didn't have room to make moves. They didn't have room because they, were set with his contract and everything like that. So getting rid of that really was able to, boost their franchise. And if they're not going to be contenders this year, I could see them being contenders the years following. Yeah. It's just all going to depend on what happens with all those Lakers guys. And, obviously there's trade speculation still going on with that number 4 pick. So we'll have to see what goes on there.
No, yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, there's a feeling, too, because, look, Zion's obviously a really great player. We saw him in college. Not everybody saw him in college, but for those that watched college basketball, looking at him, seeing what he could do at Duke, a lot of people are like, wow, it's incredible. He's like a man amongst boys, and it's like, well, he's playing against kids. So
right, exactly.
It's easy to say that when he's literally playing against children. So, but he clearly is on a different level. Should he have even gone to college? I mean, there's argument on that. But
let me pause you for a second. Because in terms of, you're talking about man amongst boys, and I agree with that, because the NBA is a whole different animal. Right. Whereas, in the NCAA, you're playing against, guys that'll never even be considered for the draft or, stuff like that, undrafted free agents, everything like that. But Zion was, I think he was 6'7", 285 is what he was.
Yes.
The only guy that's larger than him in terms of weight was Boban Marjanovic.
You're right.
At like 287.
Yeah.
But other than that, he is already entering the NBA as the heaviest person.
Yeah. No,
which
absolutely.
is crazy. And he has the athleticism of you name it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he could, prove that if he can turn into a perennial like jump shooter and be able to shoot the outside shot, which sometimes he can, and be better in that aspect.
Right.
This guy's,
Here's
LeBron like.
Here's what I'm gonna. Well, there's a lot of people already saying that, but that's what I was gonna go to. He feels like a player that so much hype is built around.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's talking about him. Everybody is making everybody's talking about him now.
Right.
It seems like he's the kind of player that the NBA could say, you know what? We used to have guys with their backs to the basket, dunking the ball a lot, driving the lane. We may have to go back to that because this kid is clearly like the next superstar. Like Steph Curry's still relevant, certainly. Klay Thompson, okay, shoot the three, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's so much fun, hit a three. This kid, get the ball, power inside, drive the lane, dunking on everybody. It's fun basketball.
A smaller Shaq. With,
right. It is Shaq-esque. And people want to see this kid go, and that's where all of a sudden everybody's like, man, we got to get a guy like him. We got to get a power forward who's like 250 who can power the lane. And then all of a sudden it's like we're going back to the old days where everybody was playing that kind of style of basketball. And then it just feels like he could be the guy that sets a new trend.
And I feel like he could fit either role, whether you want to talk about the athleticism where you play a small ball lineup and like LeBron James can play the 4.
Yeah.
And sometimes he would if they bring in a guy like Melo per se. He would play 3 and LeBron would slot at the 4, or even if he came off the bench. But my point is that he could either suit up for a small ball lineup or a big man lineup because he probably has the power to be able to play like a big man center role even though he's only 6'7".
Yeah.
So it'll just be interesting to see what they do, and like I said, it's going to be popcorn, honestly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, I mean, we've got the whole situation obviously with Ja Morant and who's the number 2 overall pick. You and me are kind of like on the same level with this. When it comes to Ja Morant, I feel like he might be the better player between him and Zion, just because his game seems to suit the way the NBA is being played now. It's a guard-dominated league, and I mean, what are your thoughts for Ja Morant? I mean,
he's like a Kyrie. If you took Kyrie Irving and put him with Russell Westbrook, that is my comp. And if that's if that's even gonna come close to that, this dude is the best player in the draft.
Really.
In my opinion.
Okay.
And if the Bulls had the number 1 pick, I would have been fine with them taking Ja over Zion.
Yeah.
I swear. And I think I touted that before. I mean, just look what the dude does. He dunks on anybody. He can pass the ball like the best of them, like Steve Nash or anything like that. And it's like crazy because he can also shoot the outside shot. A lot of guys who come in the league, they can either, like Russell Westbrook per se. He comes in and he'll dunk on people. Or, he can get the triple doubles and pass, and what Ja Morant can do too.
Yeah.
But the thing with Russ Westbrook, he's inconsistent from outside.
Right.
And he's not that great of a free throw shooter. And speaking of which, he was actually in the gym working on his free throw shot. So
he says, but
yes.
yeah.
And but my point is, like, this dude checks all the boxes. There's nothing wrong with him, honestly. The only thing my concern is him being so light, 175, 6'3", and the way he plays. I mean, it could be, injuries could be looming, and bless his soul, I hope that never happens to him. But you never know, you know. So it'll be cool. I mean, I'm very excited about him. He's definitely my most I want to see what this guy can do because I am super high on him. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, he's one of the. I mean, he is one of the most electrifying players in basketball. He certainly is tantalizing in the way that he plays. So we just got also an update here too. There's a photo brought out here. Apparently, Georgian center Goga Bitadze. He's like top 10 projected. Yes, he's projected as top 10. Unfortunately, he was seated next to Zion Williamson during the questioning. Unfortunately, all by himself, no cameras around him whatsoever. So all the photo news around Zion Williamson not even giving this guy any love whatsoever. Yeah, that's bad. I mean, top 10 pick in the NBA. That's an unfortunate.
Unbelievable. Yeah, you can see,
I
kind of that right there.
And I kind of don't like that because all this pressure is on Zion to be the next LeBron, and it's like, well, what if he's Charles Barkley? That's still good,
right? No, yeah,
you know,
I mean, you're still talking about potential Hall of Fame possibilities.
Exactly. And it's like his ceiling is so high and his floor is so high. It's like, I mean, honestly, if he's an all-star, he rookie of the year, everything like that, but he's not LeBron James, not the next LeBron James, it's like, is that really a downfall? No, it's not. He's still the best player.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I just hope the media attention doesn't become too much for him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and the media coverage is obviously going to be big for him. It's going to be big for Ja, certainly. But, of course, if things go the way it is for number 3, things are going to get really big for a guy by the name of R.J. Barrett coming from Duke.
Right.
He's projected to go number 3, 22.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists. Shot just at 31% from three-point range, 6'7", 202, freshman out of Duke. What are you viewing for R.J. Barrett? Because obviously there's a lot of conversation for what the Knicks were trying to do. Atlanta tried to make a trade for 3, but the Knicks rejected it. And
also there's speculation that New Orleans might move up from 4 to pair RJ with Zion,
yes, I was hearing that.
which would be really awesome because then I feel like Darius Garland might fall even further. Because if Ja goes to the Knicks, the Bulls should, then move up. But I don't know what's going to go on with that. But my thing with R.J. Barrett is coming into the season with Duke or whatever, he was my favorite player. I thought he was going to be the best. I thought Zion was too unpolished, per se.
Okay.
I thought R.J. is just what you want. I mean, he can play the 3, he can play the 2, he can play the 1.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome. And he's great with the balls, and he can shoot. He can, dunk on people. He is awesome. He's a facilitator and everything like that. I thought he was the number 1 pick. And then I felt like when Zion, I thought he was going to be the number 1 pick. And then when Zion went out against UNC, you really saw that RJ, he needed Zion's help.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's what propelled Zion to the number 1 pick was because Zion, without having Zion, that void of Zion, RJ couldn't really fill that void.
Yeah, it feels like, look, RJ Barrett, he was sort of like a number 2 in the college system, certainly, because obviously Zion was taking all the attention and certainly was dominating. But he does feel like he could be a star for a team, certainly in New York, where you need somebody to kind of plug into that spot, certainly at the 2, where you've got Kevin Knox kind of as your wing, as your 3, and you have, Emmanuel Mudiay, if you will, or Dennis Smith Jr. running the point. He could certainly be that guy that can be the shooting guard and just stick out in the corner and shoot the 3. But it does feel like he's a guy that you kind of need to put the talent around him for him to be able to succeed. So, although I think he can't be successful on his own. It's just it's one of those things.
Going to the Knicks, that might be a recipe for failure for him.
Yes.
I mean, I would really hope for his sake and for the team's sake. I mean, I would really hope that New Orleans makes some type of deal. Obviously, Bradley Beal might be the better option if they can make that done.
Yes.
But if they can just move, as simple as moving up to 2.
Right.
If they can make that happen, make it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, you compare 2 of the best players in the draft together and their teammates and everything like that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Now, obviously, we'll talk about the number 4 pick here in a little bit because obviously there's a lot in with that pick, certainly with the Anthony Davis trade, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But I just want to hit, obviously, Cleveland, Phoenix, Chicago, 5, 6, and 7.
Yep.
2 of those teams projected to take a point guard. Garland's been projected to possibly go at 4 if the Pelicans keep the pick. They're saying they may take him as the point guard for the future potentially, and then maybe either trade Drew Holiday or move him to the 2, which would be amazing if that actually does happen. But I wanted to ask you, what do you think is going to happen with those spots? And I think we're going to differ on how the Bulls go with this too.
I feel like if there isn't going to be any trades in the draft, it's going to go pretty chalk. And what I mean by chalk is I think Darius Garland goes at 4.
Okay.
And people can make speculation. Other than the injury, he could be a top 2 pick. And coming into the year, he was one of the most touted freshman coming in, in that freshman class. He was one of the best. They were saying he was better than RJ. He was better than Ja. He could have been the number 2 guy or number 1 guy even.
Yeah.
But with that injury, because Vanderbilt was 5-0 starting And then once he had the injury, obviously they weren't gonna, they didn't do anything. But they could have made the tournament and everything like that. And it's just like if you're. And my thing with my friend, I was talking to my friend. I was like, if the Bulls want him, go up and get him, because if he's touted to be the next Damian Lillard or anything close to that, and you need a point guard, come on. I wouldn't give up Zach LaVine or anything like that, but if you can move the 7th pick and Chris Dunn or something for the 4, do it. Why not?
Yeah, no, it's it's tough, man, because I look at Darius Garland and you hear the ACL injury.
But he's not a player that needs to be explosive to score.
He's not. But
he can shoot.
It's not, and that certainly doesn't. It helps it a little bit, but it's just one of those things where you think he's running up the floor, the pace of the game. It's the one wrong move, wrong tweak, and that could be it.
You saw that with KD and Clay. So.
Exactly, and that's the thing that worries me. It's not going to deter me away from saying, okay, if he is there, I mean, I've got my favorite, and I mean, I think everybody knows who my favorite is, and
Kobe White.
Yes, I mean, yes. Okay, everybody can stop yelling at me. Yes, I like UNC. I have a little bit of bias on that, but but look, a
lot better than Notre Dame.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. I like the kid. He's got the size. He's got the speed. He's got the passion. He's got the look, certainly. I mean, I love that mop hair. There's something about him that I see even with Darius Garland. It's the special something that you put these guys at the point. They're going to run the floor. They're going to run the show. They're smart, intelligent guys who can pass the ball out. Were the assists high for both of these guys? No. Could they get better? Absolutely. Could their defense improve? Certainly, and it has to. But
to that point, they didn't really have much playmakers around them.
True. Very true.
Whereas Ja, he put up those triple doubles, obviously Murray State's not something to be happy about or anything like that. But it doesn't shine any whistles or whatever. But you know what I'm trying to say.
Right.
But he had outside shooters. They would shoot the shot, or he would be able to throw lobs to that big center. He had guys that could do that. Whereas Kobe White or Darius Garland, they didn't really have a strong supporting cast outside of what they do.
They had a decent team around them, but it was kind of on them to pick up the slack. And what was really good about that though is you got to see a real leadership quality out of these guys too. I mean, I read an article from that had Roy Williams quoted in from USA Today that said, and this was from years ago, that he said, I just never really feel like freshmen can always be the leaders because it's hard because they're young, so I like to take the juniors and seniors and make them. Luke May, Cameron Johnson for UNC this year were supposed to be the leaders. And all of a sudden this year, Kobe White emerges and he says, you know what? That kid took the handles and he ran with it. So he's the leader of this team now. And he did that. He ran the point, he ran the show, and Roy Williams said, all I had to do was just say, this is what I like. You make sure the guys do their job. Right,
and that's big ups coming from a guy like Roy Williams, a Hall of Fame coach and everything like that. So, hey, I mean, if he can turn that mantra, whereas you're saying juniors and seniors want to be that leadership role, and he could take it over as a freshman, then that's saying something.
Yeah, exactly.
But obviously we're talking about the Bulls and what they should do.
Right.
Whether if Garland falls or trade up for Garland or take Kobe White, which I'm fine. If they take Kobe White, I'm fine. I just hope they don't reach on a guy. I just hope they don't reach.
I hear you.
I understand
don't trade
picks.
Up and then go get a guy that you could have got at 9 or 10.
Right, exactly.
If that's the way you're feeling.
It's a total Bulls move. But my thing is with that, with what I was saying about Darius Garland, if he was the next Damian Lillard, it's Garpax, what else can you do to piss off this fan base? You could literally do anything and we'll be fine with it. If it fails, he tears his ACL again or whatever. Right. It's okay, then we get rid of you guys or bring in another something or bring in another evaluating staff and trainers and different things like that. We can change it that way. But if you think that you can't really predict what's going to happen, you never know what can happen. Anything can happen.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
ball falls a different way every single time. So, hey, I mean, talking about different things that can happen, the Sixers could have been in the finals if Kawhi that ball didn't bounce in.
Yes, yeah.
And now they're champions.
Absolutely.
So you never know what you're going to get.
Very true. Very, very true. Look, all I say to the Bulls, my indigestion just kicked up because I'm starting to talk about the Bulls now. all I have to say for the Bulls is, please, for the love of God, be open to possibly trading. I would say to the Bulls, if you're going to keep 7, keep 7. but open up the possibility of trading into the first round again, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, look.
Or even trading back. If Kobe White and Garland are there, I would trade back and let the Hawks come up and get 7 and get 8 and 10 from them somehow.
Because then, who knows? Maybe they don't want Kobe White. Maybe they take somebody else. Then you get Kobe White and another player.
Right.
And then what do? You get Jackson Hayes from Texas, who's pretty good, and then you can, you can let Wendell Carter Jr., who's everybody's so in love with. My God, I mentioned one time trade him, and everybody yells at me.
I mean, the one thing I don't understand is why they said everybody was open to be traded, but anybody named Wendell Carter Jr. and Lauri Markkanen. Yeah. I was like, your future is Zach LaVine. He is a perennial all-star.
You put your money into it.
Right, exactly. It's like, how are you not going to build around this guy?
Yeah.
He's not the problem. He's the one scoring the points. He's not the one getting injured.
Exactly. Well, he's not the problem. You know what the problem is? The problem is there's 2 bozos who sit in the office.
Right.
One sitting in his office not doing anything because the other guy's like, I can do both jobs.
I can't talk to the media.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how to talk to the media.
So yeah. But yeah, it's interesting.
I'd rather have Kevin in the front office.
Yeah, and also to the Bulls, please do not draft Cam Reddish. I will.
You know what? I'd be fine with that, but it doesn't really fit our needs unless you want to make Zach LaVine your point guard, which he would definitely have some learning to do.
Yes.
But Cam Reddish, that's like you're talking about a guy that was on Duke and he was the 3rd star on Duke.
Yeah.
And it's like, put him on a team with, go to Murray State. I feel like he didn't have a chance to really fulfill his potential.
Yeah.
And I think he is probably one of the sleepers in the draft, even though a top 10 pick is not a sleeper. But in terms of what this draft is, he's a sleeper for this draft.
I see him being a guy that for a couple years he's going to be coming off the bench, 8-10 points a game.
Yeah.
3-and-D kind of guy. And
James Harden.
Yeah, and then essentially move to another team, and eventually he'll be that 18, 20-point guy. But it's going to be a long process because I think he's also a guy that needs to adjust his shot because he tended to be kind of one of those guys that's like, I can shoot over everybody because I'm taller than them.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to get adjusted to the fact that, LeBron's going to be in your face. Durant's not going to be in your face for your rookie year. But eventually he's going to be in your face. Like, these guys are going to be at you all day, every day. So it'll be interesting to see what the Bulls do. Now, obviously, we skipped the 4th pick, but obviously we have to talk about the 4th pick because the Lakers and the Pelicans, ladies and gentlemen, made the craziest trade I think we've ever seen on a draft. Well, not the craziest we've ever seen, but certainly in the last 5 years, this is one of the craziest trades I think we've ever heard.
One thing to pause before we get into this, because I assume this is going to take up the rest of the time.
Yes, yeah.
Because you have on here what players outside the top 10 catch your eye.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Definitely. Oh, God, why can I not think of his name as I'm going? Okay. Yes. All right. Yeah. He's going to be a 2nd-round pick, but Carson Edwards.
Yes.
If the Bulls wanted to take like Cam Reddish or DeAndre Hunter or something like that,
take Carson
and then target Carson Edwards.
Yeah.
I see him being a Damian Lillard type.
Right now, in all the rankings I've seen, they got him going just over us in the 2nd round to Dallas. So there's a possibility he could be there. And even if you take a point guard at 7 overall,
I would be super fine if we got Carson Edwards. That dude is a dog.
Absolutely.
Go watch his highlight tape. I don't understand why he's not a 1st-round pick.
I think he's one of those guys. They're like, big fish, small pond. Screw you, big fish, small pond. Big fish and big pond. It's the Big Ten.
Yeah.
It's a lot of good basketball players.
Yeah. Wow.
Right.
That was.
That was passionate for him.
I like that.
I like Carson
Edwards
too. So.
Tagline.
Absolutely.
It should go on a shirt.
We'll work on that.
Hey, media guys back there, can we work something out for that? All right.
All right.
They said no.
Yeah. So the big trade, obviously, for Anthony Davis. It was Anthony Davis traded to the Lakers for Alonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and not 1, not 2, but count them 3 first-round draft picks. So Tyler, thoughts on this draft? This trade, man. Who won this thing? Do you think? I mean, who do you feel was the winner out of this thing?
Well. I think you were referencing LeBron James right there with the not 1, not 2, not 3,
yes.
Championships or whatever.
Yes.
Unless they get another star, in which they're trying to free up cap space and everything like that, I see this being as an utter failure. And I could see like there being turmoil between Anthony Davis and LeBron James. But if they get another star, And like I said, if there's turmoil, I could see Anthony Davis walking after year one and not re-signing. But obviously, he said he wanted to be in LA, so he'll probably stick to that. But LeBron's, coming up. But you're still in that window. You got LeBron James, arguably one of the best players in the league still. You got to go out and make that move. So I think it's a win-win.
Yeah.
And I think what the Pelicans did, like I said earlier, moving Anthony Davis, like they're more closer to winning something now, being able to have those assets. It's all going to depend on what Lonzo Ball can become. And Brandon Ingram, he was averaging, I think, 18 points a game before that
19 and a half points a game,
yeah, before that. So that's awesome. And then you bring in a guy like Josh Hart that can put it in some valuable time off the bench. And then you got Zion. That is insane. I think this could be a huge big three, and I think the Lakers are going to look back on this and be like, hey, if we don't win a championships, we were idiots.
Yeah. No, yeah. This is one of those things where I'm like, I feel like the Pelicans won it because in the long run, they're building a franchise. Because think about it, if next year they've got a young team, and if the next couple of years they're okay, let's say they're average, right, 41 and 41, or even worse, even if Zion doesn't really make them a playoff contender like everybody thinks they are, then guess what? You're getting more lottery picks then, because the Lakers. Well, I mean, what do you think? What do you think they're going to be? I mean, I don't see them. They could be playoff contenders, but you're still getting a bunch of draft picks. And by the way, those draft picks, great capital to move to go get some great players.
Yeah, exactly.
And
definitely.
this now too brings a lot of pressure off LeBron, but also puts pressure on him at the same time, because okay, you don't have to be the scorer all the time. You've got Anthony Davis who can do some of it.
Right.
But now the clock's ticking, because it's like, LeBron, we got you your superstar.
Right.
Got to get a championship now, man.
And so the thing about that is, like, they want to free up this cap space by, expiring contracts like Isaac Bonga and Mo Wagner and stuff like that. Not expiring, but, nothing you need, really.
Right.
And they're trying to free up cap space, Rob Pelinka is. But the thing about that is, if you bring in that max guy, they literally don't even have enough money to field a roster.
Yeah.
Or to court a roster.
Yes.
Like, they don't have that money. You're going to have to pick up random free agents. Like, you're going to hope Caruso stays around and guys like that. It's like
you're going to be working with.
You're going to have those three guys, but you saw what happened to the Warriors.
Right.
Injuries happen, and then they have nothing. And even their bench was serviceable.
Right.
Like, I don't know. It's
you
just
don't
scary.
have that kind of luck.
I think they should free up that cap space and not go after that third star, and they should definitely spend it throughout the entire bench. And I think they will. I think they'll really come to that agreement. And if I'm a bozo saying this, then they'll probably think about it twice and not go after that third star. And maybe you can bring in Boogie and pair him again with Anthony Davis and LeBron.
Yeah.
And, he took 1 year, $5 million deal from the Warriors.
Right.
Why not try to get a championship with the Lakers?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting, and it just. This whole thing just screams and just helps to push forward the chaos that is the Lakers and that organization. I mean, we talked about it before up here, where you've got Jeannie Buss running it, but she's talking with Linda Rambis, and then and then Linda's talking to Kurt, and then Kurt's talking to Rob Pelinka, and it's just a spider web of a mess of a front office, and you don't know who's in control of what. Jeannie says she is. I beg to differ, but it just feels like a mess. And this and while this trade looks good for the Lakers, certainly as of now, the long haul of it just feels like I don't think so.
And the thing that's funny is this trade never happens if the ball rolls a different way.
Literally.
Exactly. The ball falls a different way.
Yeah.
The Lakers get in the top four. What if they got one? They got Zion and LeBron. They don't make that trade for Anthony Davis.
Yeah, then they're probably out of that trade, which means then you've got New York and Boston who are then going, oh, well, then we're going to do it then. And
exactly. It's just crazy. I mean, the lottery it's an insane thing.
It is. It certainly throws it throws a lot now into the monkey wrench that is
I'm just happy.
The draft. So.
I'm just super happy. And we didn't even cover this. I'm happy that Mike Conley got traded to Utah, so the Bulls didn't make a stupid move and go pay for that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Mike Conley, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, did go to Utah. He was traded for Grayson Allen, I saw in the draft, the 23rd overall pick. A few other players went with him as well.
Kyle Korver and Jay Crowder.
Yes, that was it. So, obviously, we'll see what happens in Utah now. Things are going to get
They got a big five.
Yeah, it's going to get very interesting.
Mike Conley. Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, Joe Ingles.
It's gonna get crazy. This The draft is tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to get wild. It's going to get nuts. We're going to be watching. We'll give you guys the feedback as it's happening. There's probably going to be a lot of shocks and turns. Who do you think is going to be there at number 4? Or do you think number 4 is going to stay?
Number 4 for the Pelicans?
Yes.
I think if the Bradley Beal deal is going to happen, it's going to happen now.
Okay.
I think if the 4 spot, obviously Atlanta wanted to get in that top 4. Or top 3, honestly.
Yeah.
They got kind of screwed, in my opinion. They ended up with 8 and 10.
Yeah.
Like, that's bad. I think they'll come up and make that deal if the Bradley Beal doesn't happen. I think New Orleans doesn't really want to make that pick.
Yeah.
Unless they can move up to 2, which I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And Bradley Beal, I don't know if that's going to happen either.
I'm looking at either they do the trade for Bradley Beal, which a lot of people have been talking about, or they probably go with DeAndre Hunter because for some reason a lot of people are hyping him up as the next Kawhi, which he looks like Kawhi when he was a rookie. So
well, I guess
he plays on that level.
Move Drew Holiday and put Brandon at the 2.
Yeah. Giving you some advice here, New Orleans. Just listen to us. We can give you all the tips in the world, ladies and gentlemen. All right, well, that does it here for our program. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been fun. This has been interesting. Tyler, where can they find you at, my man?
At Tyler Dillon on Twitter, at TYLERRDYLANN. Can't believe he forgot to bring the golf balls and paint for the show.
Yeah, he still forgot the golf balls and the paint, ladies and gentlemen.
But yeah, and then also check us out on Saturdays. We do it's putting up points. It's a radio show, kind of in connection with X-Bomb and then stuff like that. So definitely check us out. And then I got a Chain Gang NFL podcast, so check that out too. We talk a lot of NFL and everything like that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, go check out his podcast, The Chain Gang. Make sure you go to check out Putting Up Points every Saturday from 12 to 2, I think is the new time, right? Is that right, Jake?
12 to 2.
All right, cool.
It's updated.
Yeah, all right, cool, awesome. Jake Bradley, everybody, our producer, make sure to give him some love here with Tyler. Guys, if you guys want to find me on Twitter, I'm The Fluffy Guru on Twitter, Boom Crew Captain on Instagram. If you guys want to find us on Facebook, follow us on the Facebook page, X-Bomb Sports. Like us there, like the videos, all that good stuff. If you guys want to follow us on Twitter, at X-Bomb Sports. Same thing for the Instagram, at X-Bomb Sports. I see you over there. I know what's happening here.
I'm dishing out passes like Darius Garland. The Bulls aren't going to get.
I have nothing else to say here. Oh, also go check out the Respawn Cast, ladies and gentlemen. Every Tuesday and every Friday they're streaming. Guys, Jesus.
Yes.
Make sure to go check them out on twitch.tv. Go show them some love. Kevin Cat Shack every Tuesday and every Friday. And I think that is all the social media we have here. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get out of here. So from all of us here, we want to say much love and peace out, Boom Crew.